So you've been training for a while, or maybe you're brand new to the gym and you just want to learn how to fill out a shirt better. Well, if I had to choose 3 body parts to train to look more powerful in a shirt, these would be those 3. First off, I'd say absolutely most importantly, it's going to be the shoulders. Because first of all, having powerful shoulders will really help with the V taper, right? Having shoulders significantly wider than your waist, it gives you a powerful look. And, I see guys a lot of the time making the mistake of trying to train their chest more than their shoulders, which obviously you can train how you want to, but I feel like if you're trying to be as aesthetic as possible and look really good in the t-shirt, you got to be putting more attention to the shoulders. So, guys like Alex Eubank, not hating on him, obviously he has a great physique, but I feel like he'd probably look better if he had bigger shoulders just because his chest is so massive. So maybe considering implementing like an overhead press into your program, if you haven't already, hitting it very first thing in the workout while you're fresh. That way you can go all out on that and leave nothing on the table. Obviously, doing a bunch of lateral raises, that's going to do wonders for your shoulders. And then not to neglect the, back of the shoulder, the rear delt, doing some rear delt flies. That really helps with just the posterior chain looking more powerful. Overall, you probably should be putting more attention to your shoulders. Next, if we're talking about the arms, obviously tricep is twice as big as the bicep, generally speaking. So a lot of guys also make the mistake of training biceps too much relative to their tricep. I'd say train your tricep, probably the biggest bang for your buck for increasing the size of your arms. Now, obviously, I could say a lot of different muscle groups on the arm, like the brachialis for sure, but I'm picking 3. So if I had to choose the most important in the arm, that would be the tricep. It makes it look wider from the front a little bit. And then also, obviously from the back, it just looks more powerful. I feel like I was blessed with pretty good tricep insertions, right? With genetics, I'm certainly fortunate in that way. But regardless though, whatever your genetics look like, you gotta be training triceps. That'll help you fill out the sleeves a lot better. Last, and I'd say arguably most importantly of the 3, is probably the back. Just specifically having that back width to, first of all, it helps with the V taper, like I said earlier, with shoulders being much wider than the waist. Also having a nice V taper to go along with it from wide lats, that's certainly a nice look. But also it's just probably the most effective at filling out the shirt just because of the amount of space a big back takes up compared to the chest, right? Big chest looks good in a shirt, but it's not nearly as effective as the back. And if you were disappointed by me saying, maybe you should be training triceps more than biceps, if you train back, biceps are going to be indirectly hit on pretty much everything, especially if you do supinated rows of some kind. So you definitely got to be making back a priority. Like I said, posterior chain makes a more powerful look. When I think of a powerful back and powerful just look from the back, I think of John Cena. John Cena! So, maybe you could try to aim for that. Understandable though, if that's not your goal, he's kind of massive. So do with that what you will. And then I know this doesn't have anything to do with the shirt, but if you're doing legs, I'm not going to say glutes because that's kind of what girls do. But if you're training to have bigger glutes, chances are you're going to have pretty big thighs to go along with. Point here is just don't skip leg day, okay? Don't be that guy who has a massive upper body and then wears shorts down to the middle of his shins and has no legs. Don't be that guy, please. And then I know I said 3, but honorable mention to the traps. If you have a big upper body, but you have a skinny neck, not the best look, dude. We want a Leighton Van Der Esch type neck, okay? So gotta make sure to put in at least some shrugs into your weekly program. Yeah, that's it. Pretty quick, short, raw video. If you thought I missed anything, be sure to let me know in the comments. And like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.